A very good afternoon to all of you.
Good
Good
afternoon,
afternoon,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Right. So today we are going to start off with a new chapter of history, Nazism and the rise of Hitler. This perhaps is the most interesting chapter that we have this year, and all of us, have so many questions regarding what had caused the First World War, its repercussions were. We have heard bits and snippets about concentration camps, about Jews being exploited, about Nazism. Most of all, we have heard about Hitler, and all of us are at least familiar with this very name of Hitler, and we are at times even curious to know about him. So this is our chance to get to know Hitler and get to know about what happened during the wars. All right. So, Pratik, could you please start reading? This is page number
Yes, ma'am.
49 of the NCRT.
Okay. Nazism and the rise of Hitler. In the spring of 1945, a little 11-year-old German boy called Helmut was lying in bed when he overheard his parents discussing something in serious tones. His father, a prominent physician, deliberated with his wife whether the time had come to kill the entire family or if he should commit suicide alone. His father spoke about his fear of revenge, saying, "Now the Allies will do to us what we do to the crippled and Jews."
Crippled. The crippled.
The
Crippled are the people who
crippled
are
and the
deformed.
Jews.
Okay. Crippled
The
are
next
people who
day
are
he
deformed.
took. No, can I continue?
Yes, please do.
The next day he took Helmut to the woods, where they spent their last happy time together singing old children's songs. Later, Helmut's father shot himself in his office. Helmut remembers that he saw his father's bloody uniform being burnt in the family fireplace. So traumatized was he by what he had overheard and what had happened that he reacted by refusing to eat at home for the following 9 years. He was afraid that his mother might poison him.
All of you would agree to this, that this is probably a very ghastly experience to for a 11-year-old kid. For Pratik, you want to say something?
No, ma'am.
No. Okay. So this was something which is unimaginable. And imagine a child having to experience his father committing suicide and then refusing to have food back at his home for 9 long years, for he feared that his very own mother might poison him. So, what had happened which might have caused such disruptions in the normal life of people? It must have been something which was ground shaking. Before we start off with that, I want you people to answer one question. Okay, I have shared a link in the chat box. Kindly go to that link, click on it, and please give me the answer to the question.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, 3 of you have responded. 4, 5. Please hurry up. What about the others? The others, please respond. It's only 5 of you who have responded. Okay, 6. Fine. So, 4 of you believe that it was the First World War. The other 2 believe that it was during the Second World War that this incident with Helmut had taken place. Now, let me tell you that this is an excerpt, or this is an experience which Helmut went through while the Second World War was going on. Okay. So this is.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, actually, I wanted to ask the question that how did the Second World War happen? Like, what was the causes for the Second World War?
Okay, right. So this very chapter we are going to get to know what led to the Second World War. But if I have to tell you the answer to your question in one sentence, I would say that it was because of the humiliation that Germany had to suffer in the hands of the Central Power, in the hands of the Allied powers in the First World War, which had actually led to the Second World War. And of course, there was the rise of Hitler. Hitler was another cause. He was one prominent reason why the Second World War took place. We are going to do all of that in details. Yes, Vasti?
Ma'am, what had happened in the First World War and how was Germany humiliated?
All right, all right. I'll answer your question with some slides. Please hold on. I'm sharing my screen with you people. Is my screen visible to you people? Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So the First World War started in 1914 and it continued till 1919. Okay. It was fought between two sides or two parties. On one hand, we had the Central Powers consisting of Germany, Austria and Ottoman Turkey. On the other hand, we had the Allied Powers consisting of Russia, France, Britain, Japan and USA later on joined them. So we had these two parties. Now, afterwards we see that the Allies were defeated, the Allies defeated the Central Powers, and as is the norm, they made the Central Powers agree to certain harsh terms and conditions. They humiliated them. So the victors met at a place called Versailles and they decided upon the terms and conditions which were to be imposed on these defeated group. Now this treaty which was signed, in which the terms and conditions were noted down, is known as the Treaty of Versailles. Okay. Now here we would be more concerned about what happened or how Germany was treated after this war, because we are dealing with Germany here. So our prime focus is of course Germany. So what were the terms of the Treaty of Versailles? In a nutshell, it was Germany was made to accept the blame. Germany was the one which was held responsible for having caused the First World War in the first place. Second thing, the German army was disbanded. Rhineland was demilitarized. It could no longer manufacture arms and ammunitions. Thirdly, Germany was forced to pay a huge war reparation or compensation to the victors. It was to pay for all the loss and damage that these victors had to experience or had to survive because of the war. The resource-rich areas were ceded to the victors. Germany had to give out many of its fertile areas, resourceful areas to the victors of the war, like France and USA and Britain. And finally, Germany lost its overseas colonies and territories. Now, because of all this, what happened was Germany was completely shattered in terms of economy, in terms of its social life, and of course it was a huge mental blow to the German people. They felt humiliated and insulted. All right?
Yes,
now,
ma'am.
because of this, after this, right after this Treaty of Versailles, two things took place. First of all, the ruler of Germany abdicated. He fled, because he was the one who was responsible for the First World War, right? He had gone into the war, but he knew that he would be in danger, so he immediately fled. Now the German country had to be carried forward. Someone had to take responsibility for the administration, otherwise the country would be in a huge chaos. As it is, it was already in a chaotic state, but anarchy would rule. So what happened was, right after the emperor abdicated, the parliamentary parties met at Weimar and formed a national assembly which was named Weimar Republic. Now you see, Germany was trying to move on to a different form of government. It was previously a monarchy, now it is trying to shift to a republican form of government. They established a democratic constitution with a federal structure. All of us are familiar with the term federal structure. Federal structure is one
Yes,
where
ma'am.
we have clear demarcation of power between the states. The power is divided up. So deputies were elected on equal basis. It's a democratic constitution, remember, and universal votes to the German parliament. The specific term for German parliament is Reichstag. But this Weimar Republic was not at all received well by the people of Germany. Now we need to know why was that so, right? Give me a moment. Now, through this presentation, you are going to get to know about why the Weimar Republic failed. You know, what were the conditions raging in Germany at that time.
The international order of nations changed after the First World War. The Allies had defeated Germany and the Central Powers in the war. When Imperial Germany was defeated, a National Assembly met at Weimar. They formed a democratic constitution with elected deputies and equal voting rights for men and women. The Weimar Republic was forced to accept the humiliating terms of a peace treaty with the Allies called the Treaty of Versailles. As part of the treaty, Germany lost its overseas colonies, 13% of its territories, 1/10 of its population, 75% of its iron, and 26% of its coal.
Shinjini, could you please tell us what were the things that Germany lost after the Treaty of Versailles?
Certainly. After the Treaty of Versailles, Germany's great loss involved loss of their overseas colonies, 13% of their territory, 1/10 of their population, 75% of iron, and 26% of coal.
Okay. And Shreya Shahi, could you please tell me how this would affect the German sentiment? Shreya Shahi, could you hear me? Shreya, can you hear me? I believe she got disconnected. May I have Ansh telling me how this could have affected the psyche of the people?
Ma'am, this would have affected the nationalist thinking of the people. They would be humiliated.
Right.
Ma'am,
Absolutely right.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. Okay, so let us continue with this.
The Allied powers forced Germany to demilitarize. As a result, Germany became weak. Under the War Guilt Clause, Germany was held responsible for the damages of war and was forced to pay compensation of £6 billion. Unfortunately, since the newly formed Weimar Republic signed the treaty, it was held responsible for all the misery that followed. While socialists, Catholics and Democrats supported the Weimar Republic, the conservatives condemned these supporters and called them November criminals. This was because the Weimar Republic signed the armistice that ended the First World War in the November of 1918. Thus, in essence, the Weimar Republic was blamed for the after effects of a war it did not start. Another factor that contributed to the fall of the Weimar Republic was the revolutionary uprising of the Spartacist League, which was similar to Russia's Bolshevik Revolution. The Spartacists later founded the Communist Party of Germany, which held radically different ideals from those held by the Weimar Republic. This kind of divisiveness further weakened the Weimar Republic. Internally too, it became difficult for any one party to achieve a majority in the Weimar Republic and this gave rise to rule by coalitions. People lost all confidence in the democratic parliamentary system, and widespread discontent created the backdrop for Hitler's rise to power.
Alright, so we see that it was during these conditions, it was because of these reasons that Hitler comes back to or rises to power. Now, quickly let us just sum up the reasons for the failure of the Weimar Republic. Rudra Mishra, could you please read these points out for me, the reasons for the failure of the Weimar Republic? Rudra Mishra, am I audible to you? Shankudeep, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Could you please read these out for me? The reasons for the failure of the Weimar Republic?
Yes, ma'am. Reasons for the failure of the Weimar Republic. It was new and inexperienced, couldn't stand up to the demands made by the Central Powers, accepted all the terms put forth in the Treaty of Versailles,
Versailles.
couldn't save Germany from the economic and social crisis. With the abdication of the emperor, the German people held the Weimar Republic responsible for the humiliation at Versailles.
Right, it's Versailles. Okay, it's Versailles. So this was, in short, in a nutshell, the reasons for the failure of the Weimar Republic. Now let me show you another presentation where we'll get to know about the rise of Hitler. Give me a moment, please. Is this clearly visible to all of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Adolf Hitler, the very name synonymous with power and might, had his destiny shaped by the early experiences in his life. Born in 1889 in a small village in Austria, Hitler's early days were anything but extraordinary. They were marked with poverty and struggle. Hitler wanted to be an artist, but on his father's insistence, he took up technical education, causing him to become rebellious at school. His next few years were spent penniless in the streets of Vienna as he struggled to pursue his dream of being a painter. However, enrolling for the German army during the First World War ignited in him a spirit of patriotism. He was twice recognized with the Iron Cross Medal for his bravery at the war front. Germany's defeat in the First World War and the unfair Versailles Treaty that followed infuriated Hitler. Carrying the angst, in 1919 he joined the German Workers' Party, but soon took over and renamed it the National Socialist German Workers' Party. This popularly came to be known as the Nazi Party. The Nazi ideology, as propagated by Hitler, was based on a racial hierarchy that considered the German Aryans to be superior to the Jews. Soon, under Hitler's leadership, the Nazi Party rose in significance, but it still failed to garner popular support. Hitler made a failed attempt to seize control of Bavaria in 1923, for which he was arrested and even tried for treason, though he was released later. It was during this period of imprisonment that he wrote Mein Kampf, that inspired German militarism and gave insights into his political ideology. Let's go back in time to see how Hitler skillfully. Thus, Hitler had caught the imagination of the young German minds, promising them a Germany free of foreign influences. Hitler was seen as a messiah who would deliver people from all the ills prevalent in those times. Hitler's power compelled an initially hesitant President Hindenburg to offer him the chancellorship, the highest position in the cabinet of ministers. Very soon, Hitler took advantage of the situation when a mysterious fire broke out in the German parliament building and assumed greater control. He used his powers to send opponents such as communists to inhuman concentration camps, shut down trade unions, and banned all political parties except his own. Within a month, Hitler also ensured that the Enabling Act was passed on March 3, 1933. This act gave Hitler the powers to sideline the parliament and rule by decree. Thus, through powerful speeches and shrewd planning, Hitler finally established dictatorship in Germany.
So this was just a brief overview of what we are to study in this chapter. Now this was the introductory session that I wanted to give to you people. Now I want to share with you people some important questions. Please have your copies out. And take these questions down. First one is I want you people to dig out the answers to these questions. What was the reason behind the collapse of the German Mark? What was the reason behind the collapse of the German Mark? Next one, which nations with the
Ma'am, can you please pardon?
what was the
What
reason?
was the reason
What
behind
was
it?
the reason for the collapse of the German Mark? German Mark is in the German currency. What was the reason of the collapse of the German Mark? Which nations were the Axis powers during World War II? Which nations were the Axis powers during the World War II? Right? How did the Weimar Republic come into existence? How did the Weimar Republic come into existence? What were the decisions? What were the decisions taken? What were the decisions taken by the National Assembly that met at Weimar? What were the decisions taken by the National Assembly that met at Weimar?
Ma'am, that
Met at Weimar. Next, When and why did Hitler commit suicide? When and why did Hitler commit suicide? Right? So we have had a brief overview of how the setting was, what the background was when this World War is about to take place, and please look up the answers to these questions that I have set for you, so that the next class, when we begin with the next class, we can start off with these questions. Alright? Thank you everyone. Have a great day.
Thank
ahead.
you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you,
Thank
ma'am.
you, ma'am.
Bye bye. Bye bye.
Bye, ma'am.